you saw the footage that I got at Walker Stalker, and, well, some of it. Some footage of Atlanta, some footage of Walker Stalker. Jeffrey, pretty much. No regrets, you guys, no regrets. I want to talk about what happened and about my experience there and my experience meeting Austin and Jeffrey. Those are the only two that I officially met. I did see others like there, and like I could like, they were like right there and I was looking at them. I did see Chandler twice on a little go-kart thing. I saw Norman walk through, he walked by Jeffrey's area and went that way somewhere. I don't know. So I did see people. I saw Greg Nicotero quite a lot because he was right next to Jeffrey for most of it. I saw Christian Serratos, I saw Michael Rooker. I got a little glimpse of Steven. There were so many people you couldn't even see him. Yeah, it was, and obviously Austin. I did see Tom Payne for a minute. Got to see him over there. I did see other people, I just didn't get to meet everybody because I spent all day in Jeffrey's line. Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about Austin because he's the first one that I met. So I'm just going to talk about that. Okay, a little bit of information here that I'm going to put in. I was only there on Sunday, and by the time I bought tickets, all the VIPs were sold out, so I was a general admission. So that means that you don't get in until 10:30. Now, in one of the other vlogs, I mentioned that my photo op with Austin was at 10:40, which is like immediately. And it took us forever to get in there. There were so many people, you guys. It was ridiculous. So we finally got in, and me and my sister sprinted to the photo op area, got there, and we were trying to find Austin. There was no sign that anywhere out there that said his name like the others, like there was like nothing. We found one of the volunteers and we said, hey, we have a photo op with Austin, we don't know where he is. And she said something like, oh, I think he's already gone. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, oh my god, no. And I obviously was upset. And she said, wait a minute. She got on the radio and she said, is Austin like long gone, or is he? And they said, no, he's still there. So she rushed us in there. We ran in. Austin was standing there. And he was like, where have you two been? And I just said, I'm so sorry. We just now got in and we ran all the way here. I walked over and I hugged him and thanked him for waiting. We got a picture and I hugged him again. He was so sweet, you all, so sweet, like, nicest guy. I love him. He was so sweet. Wonderful experience, and I'm so thankful that he was stuck around for a few more minutes because I was worried he was gone. I've already showed this in my reaction video, but I'll show you again. There he is. So cute. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Jeffrey. I've already mentioned that I stood in his line all day, and I did. I got in his line as soon as I got back from Austin's, which was about 10:55. Me and my sister immediately got in line, and we stood in line for over 2.5 hours. And then he had to leave to go do photo ops and take a lunch and eat and everything, and then come back. And he was supposed to come back at 4 o'clock. So there was about an hour. We had to be back to be there in line at 3 o'clock. Those of us that were still there when he left, they gave us tickets so that we could get back in line where we were and we wouldn't have to wait in line all over again, which was very good actually. But we had to be back at 3 o'clock to get back in line. So I had about a little less than an hour to walk around with the vendors and got some gifts for family and stuff like that. And then got back in Jeffrey's line again for another nearly 2 hours. Then it was my turn to go up there. Well, me and my sister, she was ahead of me, and she was getting her bandana signed from her Carol cosplay. She went up, and he was talking to her, and he said, hey, how are you? And she said, I'm great. And he was talking. He told her that she looked fucking badass. It was great. And I was just over there with the lady and was sorting out what I was going to do and get signed and everything. But she like leaned over and said, okay, this girl wants her shirt and her magazine signed. My Entertainment Weekly here is the one that I got signed. She wants her magazine signed and her shirt signed. And he looked up at me when she said that, and he kind of looked over at me, and I looked over at him, and I could see it in his eyes that he knew who I was. Like, I could just see the minute that he recognized me, like, because he kind of went like that, and he didn't say hello to me, he didn't say how are you, he didn't say, the first and only thing he said was, I fucking know you. So, oh yeah, I know you, and I was just like, oh my god, and I put my hands like this, and I was like, you do you, because I was wondering if he was going to recognize me or not, because he followed me on Twitter a few weeks back, and I was wondering why he followed me on Twitter all of a sudden. I was just like, what? He knew me. I'll go ahead and tell you now the reason why he, how he found me was someone sent him my season 6 finale reaction. They sent it to him and he saw it and he said that he thought it was hilarious and he loved it, and what? So, but anyway, somebody apparently sent him that video and that's how he found it. And then he crawled underneath the table and came out and was coming over to sign my shirt. Oh, by the way, before that, he told the lady, he didn't tell her, he just said in general, he said, oh, we're getting a picture. And I was like, oh my god, like, because that was all I wanted, you all know, like, that was all that I wanted. I just wanted a picture with him, and I was so upset that I wasn't going to get it, you remember, and I was so, like, heartbroken. Well, I got my picture, but when he said, oh, we're going to get a picture, I was like, oh my god, I nearly cried. I didn't cry at any point, by the way. I talked to him like a human being and everything was fine. But he came over and he put his hands on my shoulders like this, and he leaned into me, and he looked down at me, and he said, no, I'm gonna put my hand in your shirt. And I said, okay. He said, no, but I promise I won't grab anything. I was like, oh my god. And then you all, he freaking pulled me into him, and he spread his legs and straddled me, and like pushed his hips into me, and then said, but I might. And I was just like, oh my god. I'm not even joking. But he didn't move away. After he went into me like that, he stayed like on top of me pretty much. And he put his hand in my shirt right about here. I could feel his hand laying on my skin the entire time. I was freaking out. I'm sure he could feel my heartbeat flying because I didn't know what to do. And he signed my shirt for me. And then he like situated me back, and he pulled me in for a hug, and then we took our picture, and then he gave me a kiss on the forehead right here. And it wasn't like a gentle kiss, it was like, he like really kissed me on the forehead. And I was like dying. I was trying to keep my cool, but you know, I was just like, oh my god. He hugged me again, and then he went back underneath the table, and he signed my magazine for me, which all I paid for, and all I asked him to sign was my magazine and my t-shirt. And then, like, we were talking, and he said, he asked me about the channel again. He said, what's your name on there again? And I said, it's Officer Friendly. And he said, yeah, that was it, and he laughed. And he said, yeah, somebody sent that to me, and I was feeling so much hate at that point, and you know, it really sucked. And then I saw that, and it made me feel so much better. And I know that, you know, I know how much you love Negan, and I know that you'll always have my back, you know. And I was like, yes, I will. And then he signed my little thing that I had, my little organizer that I was keeping my stuff in. Complete, like, just signed it, like, at the last second. He signed love you and his name, and then I hugged him again, and I thanked him. I said, thank you so much, and thank you for staying. You know, I said, you know, I really appreciate it, you're so great, you know, and just lavished him with love, pretty much. And he was so sweet. It was, you all, honestly, it was so much more than I thought it would be, and I'm so thankful to him for everything he did. I really appreciated that. He made my life. He made my life, honestly. It was so great. And then as soon as we left, I was fucking crying. Like, I was crying. I was happy tears, but I was crying because I held it in that whole time, and then as soon as it was over, I could finally release it. And I just felt, it just felt like this big, but I'm telling you all, if you ever get the opportunity to see him, to go to one of these cons and meet him, please take that opportunity, because he is so amazing, you all. He's so sweet and so kind, and you will not regret it. I love him to death, and so you know, please, and like I said with Austin, you know, where they play the saviors and they're technically the villains, don't be mean to the actors. Don't say things about them that's unkind, because they're such good people. They don't deserve that. Jeffrey's the sweetest man I've ever met in my life. So please don't be mean to him. You know, please don't. It's just not right. You know, he's so sweet and he does not deserve that. He hugged every single person in that line. He paid so much attention to everybody. Please just don't, you know, be nice to him. He's a good person and I love him to death. And thank you, Jeffrey. I love you. He's my background on my phone. I love that picture so much. So overall, it was an amazing trip and it was such a great experience. Yeah, I did see one of you there. You were in line with me with Jeffrey. I didn't get your name, but he was a very nice guy. I was standing waiting in line for Jeffrey. He was a couple of rows ahead of me, and I heard somebody say Officer Friendly, and I was thinking, like, who else could they be talking to? So I look around, and he's standing there, I guess with maybe his girlfriend or wife or something. But I shook his hand, and he was very nice and very sweet to me. So thank you very much. He's the only one that I met that knew me other than Jeffrey. But that's still so fucking crazy. That was my Walker Stalker experience, and you know, I hope you enjoy the footage and you know, and the story of what happened. Honestly, you all, dream come true. It was one of the best days of my life, and it just makes me love this cast even more. I mean, fucking love them, man. They're amazing. Till Sunday, I am Officer Friendly, over and out.